Mustafa Ali, who has headed up the Environmental Protection Agency's Environmental Justice Program since the 1990s, has just resigned, saying he can't work with the budget cuts proposed by the President Donald Trump administration. It's a great day for America, and here's why. Environmental justice was this program put in place in the 1990s that basically tied environmental regulations to civil rights. The EPA actually defined environmental justice as this. EPA's definition is, it's the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people, regardless of race, color, national origin, or income, with respect to the development, implementation, and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. That's a mouthful, right? So really, all you have to remember is that environmental justice was the government's way of controlling people by linking environmental degradations to civil rights of minorities and the poor. In other words, advocates for environmental justice see clean water or clean air as racial issues. And if you're wondering what, say, water quality or clean air have to do with somebody's skin color, well, that's a really good question. And it's one that wouldn't make you a good environmental justice crusader. Here's an example of how environmental justice works. It starts with the premise that, say, clean air is a basic human right. And who would argue with that, right? But anyhow, the logic goes on that wealthy people often enjoy clean air because they have enough money to live in homes with decent ventilation, cockroach-free, in areas of low traffic, which means less air pollution. Poor people, on the other hand, and particularly poor people who are minorities, are forced by their lower incomes to jam into housing that's roach infested, that's nearby train stations, that are in transportation hubs and high pollution buildings and facilities. So in environmental justice world, taxpayers need to cough up money for poorer people to move into the wealthier neighborhoods. But don't take it from me. The EPA has its own lingo to describe it, and it goes like this. Environmental justice will be achieved when everyone enjoys the same degree of protection from environmental and health hazards and equal access to the decision-making process to have a healthy environment in which to live, learn, and work. That's according to the EPA. Now, since the EPA has expanded its role over the years so that it seeps into pretty much every facet of human life, from the air we breathe, to the homes we build, to the puddles of rain that gather in our backyards, that means environmental justice warriors have free rein to intrude, impose, and regulate on pretty much every facet of human life, all under the guise of civil rights. The problems here are obvious, at least to those who aren't spinning the liberal webs. Dropping out of school and taking government entitlements, for example, is a choice that naturally leads to limited housing selections, and not of the million-dollar mansion type. It's not an equal access issue based on gender or skin color or religious preference or any number of other characteristics that are protected by the Constitution. It's not a civil rights matter in that regard. So Ali resigning? Don't let the doors hit you. If Trump accomplishes little else during his 4 years in the White House, getting rid of the EPA's environmental justice program will place him in history as a hero to freedom and as a defender of individual and constitutional rights. I'm Cheryl Chumley, taking a stand for Jesus in a land of darkness. If you like what you hear, give a like to my YouTube videos and make sure and come visit me at CherylChumley.com for daily news updates. Thanks for listening.